Hi folks, it's Andy. Welcome to this week's Kendo Rant. Okay, we've got some fantastic questions for you today. We'll get to them in just a minute. You know what I'm going to say though? You've got to like, share, subscribe. You've got to ring the Kendo bell. And really mean it about sharing though. I know every YouTuber, sort of goes on about, like, share, subscribe. I don't know if I count as a YouTuber or not. I don't know. But if you share a video like this with somebody you know, or you like it or anything like that, then YouTube thinks, oh, that's a good video, everyone likes it. And then it shows it to more people that maybe don't do Kendo, they do something similar. Maybe they've looked at something to do with samurai or something else or whatever, sword fighting, anything, and they see it and they go, oh, look, that's Kendo, that looks interesting, let's have a look at that. And then they look at it and then they start Kendo, and then you have introduced a new person to Kendo, all right? And that's what it's all about, right? Growing the international Kendo community. So don't forget to do that. Finally, keep these videos coming, keep the camera rolling, keep the lights on, all that, by supporting the channel and shopping at kendostar.com. That's my website. Obviously, I'd say it's amazing, because it is. It's the best, awesome, amazing, most wonderfulest Kendo equipment in the world. I would say that, as I say. But check out our reviews. Ask the people in the dojo. I'm sure everyone in your dojo is using it. They should be. That's kendostar.com. All right. Now we've done that, let's get to these questions. Right. So first one. This one came to me by private message. It's sort of anonymous type thing, but let's get to it anyway. Hello Andy, I love what you do, and I wanted you to know that you are helping so much the Kendo community with your videos and of course with Kendo Star. Thank you very much. I have a question that I'd like you to answer on Kendo Rant. Good, well that's where we are. I understand that being overweight is a huge health problem. Unfortunately, I've been dealing with it all my life and probably always will be. That doesn't mean that I accept it and I don't try to lose weight with an exercise. In fact, that's the reason I started doing Kendo 2 years ago. If I want to exercise 2 days a week, at least do a sport that I enjoy. After this 2 years, I'm starting to think about grading for first Q. I think I have a strong basics of Kendo and that my sensei's lessons, and to be honest, your videos as well. Oh, thank you. But when I imagine myself in a grading with a Kendogi that has a funny shape because of my body, I feel quite embarrassed as well. Also, because my stamina is not very high, I adapted my Kendo into a defensive way or reactive. What are your thoughts about it? I really enjoy Kendo and I'm not looking to be a great Kendoka, but I would like to one day achieve a second dan. Thank you very much. Okay, so it's a fantastic question, and I think it's something a lot of people struggle with and are wondering about. So there's a couple of things I'm going to go into with this. Right, first off, I know a lot of people that are really good at Kendo and are also overweight, all right? So I don't think it's something that necessarily has to stop you getting good at Kendo. I know some of the best Kendoka I know, actually, that, let's just say they're not on the slim side. So there's that. Obviously, the flip side of that is some of those people, they train super, super hard still. And it doesn't, I guess... I'm not sure that Kendo is a super effective method of exercise for weight loss, all right? So, I know you've mentioned about doing exercise twice a week and using Kendo for that. Whether it's going to give you the sort of exercise you need to lose weight, if that's what you want, I'm not sure it's going to do that. I'm not saying don't do Kendo, do it, but if you want to lose more weight, you might have to do something in addition, because I'm not sure Kendo is the right kind of exercise to do that. I don't know that. I'm not like a dietitian or what do you call it, like personal trainer or anything like that. I don't know about that sort of thing. All I know is I know some guys that are really overweight and they still train really hard and they don't lose the weight. So that's all I'm saying. I know, that's not really a scientific metric. I get that. About your grading, all right. If you've got strong basics in Kendo and you can hit with Fumikomi, then you're going to get through Ikkyo. I don't think you'll have a problem, all right. But you must be able to do strikes with Fumikomi. Secondly, regarding your Kendogi, first of all, it really depends. Like, look, you know, I'm sure like the bigger size Kendogis are probably not too bad. In terms of how they look on you, but you know, if it is, if you are really that worried about it, just get in touch with us and we'll talk about sorting something out, sort of custom made that's going to fit you better. It doesn't have to be super expensive. We generally don't charge extra, or if we have to charge extra, you know, it's generally not that much. Even on our sort of basic models, we can do it. So just get in touch with us about that if it's really something you're worried about. If you don't want to spend the money, I get that, but you know, we are usually able to do it at a sort of basic price without it costing too much extra. So that's one solution. Secondly, like, is if you don't want to go down that route and you want to use the Kendogi that you've already got, then, you know, as long as you're wearing it properly, yeah, as long as you're wearing it properly, you know, a grading panel is going to understand that it doesn't fit everybody's body in the same way. So there's going to be a sort of understanding of that, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. I mean, you know, it's not, people aren't looking at that, and if they are, then they're not doing Kendo properly. Secondly, you know, there's plenty of people that wear their Kendogi in different ways, shall we say, and it's nothing to do with their body shape. They're just wearing it wrong or something like that. So as long as you don't do that, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. That's the other thing I'd say on that front. Okay. And finally, look, about your stamina. Yeah, look, I get that, but you know, you don't want to fall into this sort of trap of just defending because you're sort of tired. If you do want Kendo to be one of the sort of vehicles that you are going to use to help you lose weight, then probably you do have to push yourself a little bit in your practice. Now, you have to stay within your limits. You don't want you to get injured or, you know, anything bad happen, but you do need to try and push your stamina boundary a little bit so that you can, at least for those sort of 2 minute or less, it's like 1 minute bout you're going to do in an Ikkyu grading, where you can sort of concentrate on positive attacks and strikes, and you really want to bring that into your overall sort of Kendo experience as well, to be honest. You don't really want to be relying too much on this sort of blocking stuff. So that's what I'd say there. I'd recommend, if I'm honest with you, I'd recommend also probably adding some other sort of exercise into your you know, your routine. I know it's not great. Well, it's not even not great. I know it's horrible, right? I'm not a fan of doing that sort of thing either, doing training and stuff like that. But you know, you've got to look after your body right as well, and you don't want to get injured. Okay, so and especially as we get older, I don't know how old you are, but you know, you know, age comes for us all, right? We have to do things that prepare ourselves so that we are capable of doing the things we want to do in Kendo without putting too much strain or stress on our body, on our joints, on our muscles and stuff like that. So, you know, one thing I would recommend is, if you can, spend a little bit of time outside of the dojo, maybe doing some training, maybe even weight training. It doesn't have to be cardio necessarily. It'd be good if you could do that, maybe build your stamina up a little bit, but maybe even like a little bit of leg strengthening, I think, will go a long way. And I think what you'll find is, despite the sort of body shape, which I appreciate you're not so super happy with and you're trying to change, but you'll find that you're able to do Kendo to a higher level than you probably realise. All you need is that little bit of extra strength in your legs to be able to move yourself in the way that you want to. As I say, I know quite a few Kendo Crow who are exceptionally good. They're not sort of super fit, you know, Mr. Universe type type body shapes, should we say, but what they do have is exceptional leg strength, all right, and that's not just for people who are overweight either. You know, I think that's something everybody needs to concentrate on a little bit, and especially, as I say, as you start to get a little bit older, you do need to make sure that you are keeping your legs, especially your calves and your Achilles, your hamstrings, stuff like that, sort of in shape, so that you're preventing any sort of possible injury that could happen. And I'm speaking as somebody that's experienced those sort of injuries on both of my legs. So, yeah, just bear that in mind, okay? I'm sure you'll be able to get to second dan and probably further. All right, so you know, I wish you all the best. I hope to be able to practice with you and help you as well. And thanks for your question. Okay, next one. Hello, Andy. Recently, I found that my left thumbnail got banged up quite a lot. I don't even know how it happened. I think I was hit by the Tsuba of an opponent. Am I doing something wrong, like turning my thumb outward? Anyways, to protect it, or is it just part of Kendo? Thank you. So, look, getting hit on the thumb, either right or left, it's like one of those things. It's almost like a rite of passage in Kendo. I think everybody goes through a phase of getting hit on the thumb a lot. And what you'll find is it could be a combination of things. It's probably you still figuring out your exact movements of your hands and arms as you make your strikes, or perhaps as you're sort of blocking. What you want to try and do is try and identify a little bit when, you know, as soon as you get struck, try to figure out what just happened. Try to analyze it in that moment, and then you can maybe figure out how you can prevent it. But yeah, definitely, I've been through sort of phases. Hang on, I'm not disappearing. I'm just getting this so I can show you. I've been sort of through phases where maybe I've sort of had a habit of blocking like this, and I'll take a strike on my thumb there, or I've tried to block like this and I've taken it on the thumb there. I had that for quite a while, or maybe it's even a sort of way that when I'm striking, I'm catching my thumb on something somewhere. It is sort of a phase that I've been through. So, you know, I think it'll work itself out. But what I recommend is, like I say, as soon as it happens and you realise that it's happened, try to analyse in that instant what just happened now. How did I just get hit there? Right, it's when I block like that. Okay, so maybe I need to figure out the angle at which I'm blocking. I need to change that a little bit, for example. All right, that's sort of the best thing I can say on that. Next one. Hi Andy, thanks for your videos. I've noticed that my shinai can break when I hit door. How to hit door without breaking the shinai. Am I not relaxing my wrist enough, or am I not retracting my shinai properly after my strike? So what you'll probably find it is that you're using your right hand too much when you're making the door strike. All right, it's really, really super common, but if you're hitting with the right hand, you're going to bust your shinais up. All right, so it's something a lot of kendoka go through. It's usually a phase that they go through where every time they hit door, they break shinai. You're probably just hitting it too hard and hitting it with your right hand. You don't need to hit door that hard. As long as you hit it accurately and sharply, you do need to use your left hand to swing the shinai. I don't have the room to do it here. Even if you bring them up together, you do need to, oh, I just bashed the microphone, sorry. You do need to use your left hand to control the shinai, really, so that you can properly sort of exploit the shape of the shinai in order to get the impact you need without using the sort of muscular power behind it. All right, so that's what I think it is. A lot of people, they try to hit the door harder than they need to. And that's what it results in. I use doorwaza reasonably frequently, and I never break shinai. All right, so I really think if you're having a problem breaking shinai, it's something to do with the way that you're striking. Whether it's that you're using your right hand too much, or you're simply putting too much power in, or it could be a combination of both, right? And especially when you're hitting door, maybe you've seen somebody that's really good at doing door, and you hear that massive bang noise that you get. All you have to do with door, you just have to hit it accurately. You have to hit it accurately and sharply. You don't need a lot of power. And you'll get enough force from the actual mechanics of the strike itself for it to be considered a valid strike. Okay, so I'd have a sort of think on that. Okay, next one. Hi Andy, thanks for another great video. Have you considered making a video on how to properly use a face mask when putting the men on and during practice? In many countries, face masks are mandatory in indoor disciplines, and some of us haven't figured out how to make our face masks not move just yet. Cheers. Okay, so no, I haven't considered doing that, and the reason is because it's not something I'm really qualified to talk about. And I say that because I live in the UK at the moment, and in the UK government recommends against using a face mask whilst you're participating in sports. So we've never been required to wear cloth masks underneath our men like they are in perhaps Japan or in other countries. We usually use the plastic shields, but the government recommends against using a mask to cover your mouth and nose, a cloth mask to cover your mouth and nose whilst you're engaging in sports or exercise. So I don't have the experience of doing it. Okay, so I've never done it. I've never worn a mask, a cloth mask underneath my men whilst practicing Kendo. So I'm not really able to tell you about it because I don't have the experience of it. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not super up for gaining the experience of doing it either. So I consider myself very lucky that it's not been a requirement for us up until now. So it is what it is. I didn't decide that, by the way. That's the government in this country. So yeah, don't flame me or tell me that we should be or something like that, because I don't make the rules, I just follow them. Right. Okay, next one. What's the difference between Kakegoe, Hasse, and Kiai? Okay, that's a good question, because they're three kind of reasonably similar words that are somewhat interchangeable. So let's look them up in the dictionary, Japanese to English Kendo dictionary. You can get this at kendostar.com. So let's start with Kakegoe. Okay, so Kakegoe is basically it's the act of shouting. Basically, it says here, a natural vocalization which shows that one is full of spirit and on guard. Kakegoe can serve to encourage oneself, to intimidate the opponent, and to announce victory. Okay, so put simply, this is the shout that you do when you're facing your opponent. Yeah, this one, yeah, not the kote man do, not this one. The one when you're facing the opponent to kind of build up your spirit and impress on the opponent. Yeah, this is Kakegoe. Okay. Hasse, on the other hand, similar, of course, and that one in here says the act of vocalizing, shouting at the opponent when facing each other, the act of shouting kote men do or tsuki as the attack is made. See Kakegoe. Okay, so Hasse is any time that you use your voice. Okay, it literally means to use your voice. Okay, so when you do Kakegoe, that is Hasse. When you say kote or men or do, that is also Hasse. Okay, so a lot of you watching this are probably like, well, isn't that Kiai? And that's where this question's come from. Okay, so it sort of is. It's kind of an expression of Kiai. All right, if we look up Kiai in here, let's get to it. Kiai, the state where one is fully focused on the opponent's move and one's planned moves. Also, it refers to the vocalizations one produces when in such state of mind. All right, so basically, Kiai is about you. It's about your state of mind, about your spirit being up and strong. And through having the Kiai, you do the Kakegoe, which is a type of Hasse. Okay? But it's often a little bit misunderstood or misinterpreted, in that often people just use the word Kiai to mean shouting, and it is sometimes using that, as it says in here, but I think it's written in here because it's so common to do that, where it's not really the correct way to do it. I think the proper way, if you're going to talk about the act of shouting, Hasse means to shout, and you can do the Kakegoe, which is the type of Hasse that you do when you're facing off with your opponent to show your Kiai. Okay, and same as when you strike, you have the Kiai when you strike, and that's expressed through your Hasse. Okay, so yeah, that's I know it's a bit of a unusual one. It's not one that we're necessarily used to, and it's a little bit sort of complicated or convoluted, but that's how it is. Okay, next one. How do you properly get measured for a Borgu to wear it for the first time, and what should you be looking for in a new beginner set, as well as any new Borgu wearing tips? I'm quite a larger guy and I've been losing weight steadily. Should I wait to get my Borgu? Especially since I'll be buying it online from Kendo Star. Thank you. I don't want to have not fit me properly 6 or 7 months later because the weight changing. Thank you. Okay, so first off, about measuring. Look on the guide. I'm actually updating the measuring guides at the minute, but you can see on like the original Vanguard page, I've already done it. It's got a photo of me being measured. It's best to get somebody to help you, all right? And what you need to do for the men, you need them to measure from your chin to the furthest point to the back of your head in front of your ears with your mouth closed, all right? The tape should be taut but not tight, so not cutting off the blood supply, but it shouldn't be slack. All right, and it wants to go all the way around like this. You want to hold the tape with your finger so it doesn't move and get someone else to check the size. It should be, for most adults, somewhere between 64 centimeters up to sort of 72, 74. They're on the much bigger end. I'm on the smaller side. I'm only at 65. But it should be somewhere in between there. Of course, there are variances as well. For the kote, and then of course you need to measure around the top like this at the sort of level where you would wear a hat, and then you need to measure the height of your eyes. Then for the kote, you need to measure from your sort of wrist joint to the longest finger, and then you need to measure around your knuckles in a slight diagonal line, all right, not too straight and above the knuckles. It needs to be across all of the knuckles, all right, and then you need to pop your thumb together and measure around your thumb knuckle as well, all right, and you'll be fine. Then we need your height and we need your waist measurement. In terms of the first, let's see, the tips for a first time beginner set. If you can afford to buy the original Vanguard, that's the perfect beginner set, all right? Because it'll last you a long time. In that it's always going to look like a kind of a burger that you can take anywhere. If you don't want to stretch to that, you can go to the Vanguard Basic V2. It's a great set as well, and it just kind of cuts down on the cost by removing some of the more like aesthetics features, some of the more visual features, and some of the features that add durability as well, but it's still super protective and comfortable. So if you can't stretch to the Vanguard, then yeah, you can get the V2. And if you do have the budget to go up even further to the Vanguard Myrmidon, then you'll be super happy with that because it's super protective. It looks awesome. It's not like super high maintenance because it's still made from easy to look after materials. You get nicer kote palms, you get a little bit of extra protection, and like I say, it looks super slick. And the reason I say that, especially about the original Vanguard and the Vanguard Myrmidon, they're a great set for a first set, because what you don't want to do, lots of people, they'll go out and they'll buy the cheapest burger they can find. And I know you can go out there and you can find cheaper burger sets than you'll find at Kendo Star. Good luck getting them shipped to you with no costs, though. But anyway, maybe you can. But what you'll find is once you start trying to get to Shodan or Nidan, then you're going to start wanting another burger set, right? Because you're not going to be happy with the way that the burger set you've got looks like a beginner's burger set. Whereas when you get something like the Vanguard or the Vanguard Myrmidon, you get a set that right from the start, it looks like a sort of, you know, a burger set that you can use to challenge your first dan or your second dan or your fifth dan or your sixth dan. You're going to be fine using that. Okay, so, you know, don't buy it twice. You know, you'd be better off buying a better one from the start. And in terms of the sizing issue, you know, about losing weight, you don't need to worry too much, all right? Because the main thing that's going to change, generally, even if you lose weight, the size of your skull isn't going to change, okay? So the men's size won't change. The size of your hands probably won't change a massive amount either, to be honest. And even if they do, it's just it's not as big of a deal. And then it's going to be your waist. Your height's not going to change, right? So it's going to be your waist. Now, the thing is we mainly take the tare and door size off your height and to some extent off your waist. But if you're going to lose weight anyway, it's not a problem because the synthetic door can easily be adjusted. All right, so you can easily make it smaller as you get thinner. It's not a problem at all. I've got another video about how to do that. So yeah, it's super easy to do. So I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, you'll be absolutely fine. There's plenty of people I know that have sort of had fluctuations in their weight and still use the same burger, and quite drastic ones at that. So I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine. Okay, last one. Right finger on the Tsuba in Qatar. What is its role? Is it for Tenuichi, and how so? Or is it just circumstantial information to tell us that our right is at the correct height. So I wasn't sure about what this question was really about. I didn't quite understand it, so I did post a follow-up question to it to ask for more details. And what you're talking about is when you've been taught that when you hold a Bokuto in your Kamae, that your index finger on your right hand should touch the Tsuba. And the question is sort of why is that? So I don't think I've ever had someone tell me specifically that the index finger should touch the Tsuba. I just don't know. I can't think of a reason why you would want it not to necessarily. If you don't want it to touch the Tsuba, then I don't think it's not a problem if you hold it sort of like that. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's not touching. This is okay. You could, because you can't tell anyway. But if you're holding it sort of like this, that's not correct. All right, that's not how we hold the bokken in Kendo. All right, I know. I've been speaking to some people that do EI, and I've heard that apparently don't do like this. So you don't do that. You don't hold the shinai. The iaito at the extent of the tsukai. You all hold it on the actual wrapped part, is what I understand from what one of the guys that works with me here at Kendo Star does EI, and he told me a bit about it, but I might not have understood properly. So I don't do EI, and I know nothing about EI. I don't pretend to know nothing about EI, and I don't want to know about it either. So you don't need to write in the comments to tell me. But I don't care what happens in EI. What happens in Kendo is that you can't leave a massive space between your hand and the Tsuba. It must be close to it, like that, right? It's not correct to hold a bokken like this, yeah, or even like this. Yeah, it has to be like this. And if you want a gap between the Tsuba and your finger, then you can put a small gap like that. But anything sort of bigger than that, it's going to look obvious, and it looks like you just don't know how to hold the bokken. All right, I wouldn't say there's I've never seen anyone or been told by anyone that you must touch it, but you don't want a massive gap. Okay, I hope that makes sense. That's everything for today. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Let's get more people into Kendo. You can do that by doing those things. Shop at Kendo Star, and I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.